Good evening, everyone. This presentation is related to our social data mining class, and we are group 1, and we are going to present an analysis of the S&P 500 stock market. I'm going to start this presentation by introducing our team members. So I'm Karl-Heinz. I'm the business analyst of this project, and I'm going to introduce the project to all of you and talk a little bit of what we did. Supriya is our data analyst. She's going to talk about the code and how MongoDB is working on it. Hari Krishna is our developer. He's going to talk about the user interface and also the CRUD operations that we have in the project. And Moises is going to talk about the demo of our project. He's our business intelligence analyst. So the data source that we selected this one because it's related to the financial field, and all of us have interested in this field. And we are going to talk about stocks of companies of the S&P 500 index. This is an index that groups 500 stocks of the US market. And we selected this stock market because this is one of the most important stock markets in the US. You can see in this slide the URL that we are using, and the image shows the website where we scraped data. The tools that we used in this project are Python, Jupyter Notebook to run some tests, Visual Studio Code, MongoDB, and React. And we also used some Python libraries like Beautiful Soup and Requests to scrap data, MongoDB to make the connection with our database on MongoDB, JSON and CSV to create outputs. The data model that we used can be seen on the left, in the image on the left, where we have 8 columns. The first column is the name, where it shows the name of the stock. We also have the latest price and the previous price. We also have the low column that shows the lowest price from the current day, the high that shows the highest price from the current day. The percentage is the variation of the stock in a percentage level, and we have time and date related to the time and date of the date of the stock. And now Supriya is going to talk a little bit about MongoDB and our code in Python.
Hello, Professor. I'm Supriya, and I will be demonstrating about web scraping flow for our project. So this is we are actually using Python for scraping, web scraping data from the website which we are selected, which is marketbusinessinsider.com. So as you can see, we in the Python code we actually extract the data from the web page and using Beautiful Soap library, and then the Python converts the data into CSV file and JSON file, and which has been stored locally into our machines. And yeah, as you can see, it has been demonstrated in a PPT. Then after storing it in the local file, the data is getting stored into MongoDB, and we are actually hosting the MongoDB on MongoDB at last. For storing the data, storing data into MongoDB, we are actually using PyMongo library in Python, so that we can actually insert the data. And yeah, over to next slide. We have actually taken a screenshot of the Python code. So as you can see, like initially we are actually initializing the variables and all, the database and all, and from line 20 actually, for going through all the 12 pages of the stock website, we have actually used a for loop, and it's the line for the piece of code starts from line number 20. And actually what it does is that it scraps the information which is required for our website. It scraps the information of our stock markets like stock name, last price, percentage, and the time and the date of the stock, when it's been like all the details from the website which we are actually scrapping, and then it's getting saved into CSV file, which the piece of code, but that in the Python starts from line number 38. Yeah, slide, yeah. From line number 64, it actually data is getting stored into JSON file. And for CSV file, sorry, I forgot to talk about that. We have actually initialized in the beginning and then getting stored in the end. It's getting stored, right, written in the end of the code. So yeah, this is how the code look like in the, yeah, thank you. This is how the piece of code look like, scrapping code look like in Python. And I'll show some sample. I'll show them some images of the for local files which are getting saved on machines. This on the left side of is the image of the JSON file, while on the right side is the CSV file screenshot. And yeah, these are the two files we are actually storing in the local machine. And for the database, after inserting the data into MongoDB, the data look like this, and we are storing the data in a database which is called as data mining project is a database, and we are storing it in the stocks table. So yeah, here I'll end my presentation, and my colleague Hari will continue the rest.
Hari Krishnan here. So this is the whole structure of the project. So web scraping is happening with Python, and the data is converted to JSON and it is stored in MongoDB. And a Node.js server API access all the data in MongoDB. Only that access the data in MongoDB, and React application is facing the user, and it also communicates with the JS server. I mean Node.js server. So our code is mainly the CRUD operations code. The web part of the code is written as a client and a server. So we use React JS for the client and Node.js, Express.js for the server. And we used it because we were familiar with this technology, with this tech stack. That's why we used it. And we have hosted this in a web service called Heroku. It's a free thing. And this project is available in this URL. So, explaining the code, in the case of client, we are basically using a form for inserting the data. So, it's a form, and we are collecting the form values and sending that to the server. So, we are calling the server API here. And also in the case of viewing the whole stocks, that is the first page of the main page of the project, which is just the view of the whole stocks. That is done by a table, and the data is fetched from the MongoDB using a server API call, that is this. And the server APIs are written like this, and it is a simple code. We are using this Mongo API, which we are used here. And so all the APIs are written in this page, like for deleting, for editing, for getting. So APIs are written in this page, and our model is defined like this in the server. So that's all about the server code. And coming to the CRUD operation, in the CRUD operation, the simple thing is we are in the main page. By the end of the page, there is a create stock button. We are just filling the form and clicking the create button, and the record is created. And in the case of read, in the first page itself, it reads all the data from the server and showing it in the table. But there's a special view function which separately views the each stock. We can view separately using that view button. And in the case of update, we can just click on update, and we will see the form. and we can edit any of the elements in that, and we can just click update, it will get updated. And finally the delete. Delete button is a passive button, and it is red because we cannot retrieve the data after deleting that. So when we delete the button, there will be um, a confirmation window. When we confirm the deletion, the record will be deleted. So that's all about the CRUD operations. Over to my colleague Moises for demonstrating the whole project. Thank you.
Hello, this is Moises here. So the next step in this presentation, I'm going to quickly guide you to a quick demo. But first of all, I would like to say that before running this demo, we run the script to populate the MongoDB, so that way we can have our script data into the MongoDB server. So as you can see, here is the time and day where the data was scrapped. And now let's proceed with the web group application explanation and demo. So this is for the creation and read and edit and delete operations. As you can see, we have in here the main interface over our web application. We have the 8 columns that were explaining at the beginning, the data model with the information of every single column. So let's get started and create a new record. For that purpose, we need to press the create button, which is at the end of this table. So we just click the button and we are going to be shown a form that we need to populate with the information of the new stock that we would like to insert. So in this case, we would like to include the Chinese Yayang, which is Alibaba, and we are just put some values so we can give an example of what we are talking about. Also, we need to specify the time. In this case, we are just going to select this time. And also, we need to define the date. Once we have done this, we need to press the create button. So as soon as we press the create button, we are going to get back to the main interface, which is the main table. And if we scroll down to the end of this table, we are going to be able to see the new generated item, which is this Alibaba group. So now for the second operation, let's view or read this record. So we just press the view button, and here we are going to get a summary of the stock that we wanted to see. In this case, we are just seeing the Alibaba group, and that's all for the view. We can also do that for the first item, and as you can see, this is the general information. Now let's proceed with the third operation, which is the update. So let's select the first item, and here we just change the name and include one extra. And let's say that the highest price today it was 189, and just let's specify the date, which is today, and let's hit the update button. Okay, and as you can see, the record was updated with the information provided, and if you want to see once again, you will be able to see the update, and we can return main table. And finally, let's proceed with the last accurate operation, which is the delete. So let's delete the first item row. So as soon as we press the delete, we are going to be provided an alert window, which is going to ask us if we are sure that we want to delete this record. Because if we delete it, we won't be able to recover it again. So we are going to press yes to delete it. And as you can see, we are going to get our table updated, and we don't have that item anymore. So that's all related to this demo.